So in the first session, we saw the individual aspect, means how we can rewire our subconscious mind so that that becomes the new habit, and that starts changing our life, make our life more integrated. We start taking more wiser decisions, we become happier. So that was an individual aspect. But do our thoughts have something to do with the so-called the cosmic aspect of our existence? That can we really affect the external world by our thoughts? As Swami Vivekananda in Karma Yoga in one place is saying that a holy person sitting in the Himalayas, never interacting with the people, never interacting with the people, just sitting there thinking holy thoughts, does it in any way do good to the world? He says yes. The thought vibrations are extremely powerful. They are never lost. It's there. Just like our thoughts, our mind is very much non-local. To give an example, suppose you are watching a TV in a particular channel, and suddenly the TV collapses, picture tube breaks. Nowadays it's not picture tube, whatever it is, it collapses. And now you bring another TV, on it, tune to the same channel, and you on it. Again you see the same picture, isn't it? So it is there, though it was not visible. Sometimes we think that Sukshma Sharira, many say that you say after the death, the Sukshma Sharira still lives. Have anyone seen something coming out of the body and that exists? It's actually, Sukshma Sharira doesn't mean that. Just the way when you off the TV, the TV has broken. Has really something gone out from the TV? Nothing. It was something you are tuning to. Our mind is also like that. It is non-local. And that way, it is very non-local. So, you can take an example. The mind, actually there is only one mind. We think that we all have individual minds. It's actually not the fact. There's only one mind. We are all individual aspects of that cosmic mind. To give an example, in the internet, all information is available. But I create my world by what I download. If I am a medical student, I will be just downloading the things related to the medical science, and that will create my world. I have some liking, some dislike, something like some movies I like, some videos I like, that I download. That creates my world, that creates my personality. That's the individual aspect. But after all, the mind is cosmic. Cosmic mind, with all our minds are individual aspect. In that way, our mind do affect the external factors of our existence. What you are thinking, it has to do. So nowadays they say that what you think, that materializes in the external world. That your thoughts, your desires, as per your desires, you will be gravitating the external circumstance. You will be gravitated to that. Or nowadays they say the entire nature conspires to make your desires fulfilled. If you really intently desire something, the entire nature will conspire to make your desire fulfilled. Now from the yoga point of view, in a very scientific way, they have dealt with this subject. So we will try to understand that how our thoughts, behaviors really start affecting the external environment. If I really aspire for something, I do create an environment where I will find myself today or tomorrow. So what's the idea? So just now in the first session, we had the idea of sanskar, that what I think consciously, that gets stored in my subconscious mind as samskaras, the latent impressions. But in Yoga Sutra, there is another wonderful concept. They say that whatever I think, whatever I act, believe, means my efforts, suggestions, thoughts, everything, in the individual aspect gets stored as samskaras, as the latent impressions. And in the cosmic aspect, there is another aspect that is called karmashaya. It's a very particular term, karmashaya. It gets deposited as karmashaya. Now just take the word karmashaya. Ashaya in Sanskrit means reservoir, something which is container. Karma, a container in which your karma finds its place as a receptacle. It's a receptacle on which it finds its existence. Karma ashaya. means the cosmic aspect of your karma, where your karma, the sanskaras will take you to that type of situation. You will find it fulfilled. To explain this karmashaya, we will take the help of some example. That in one level, it is finding expression as my latent impressions. In another aspect, it is finding expression as karmashaya. It is taking me. It will take me to a situation where I will find my desires get fulfilled. Whatever desires I have developed by repeated actions, that is in my subconscious mind. Now for the fulfillment, I need an environment. I will be gravitated to that. So what's the idea? This karmashaya, it can be understood even with a very common example. Just take a student, a young boy who have a lot of distractions. Somehow the parents, the teachers have explained him that if you study, you can really be successful in life. You can have a good profession. So study is important. So somehow these repeated suggestions from the external parents, authority, whatever it may be, has got internalized. This external authority got internalized. So now the student himself starts repeatedly suggesting himself, I have to study, I have to study. So as we were telling, that's because of your will, repeatedly what you do, that becomes synaptic connections. Now we will find what was will previously. He was forcing himself deliberately, he was forcing himself for studying in particular time of the day. He had made his routine punctual. Now gradually he started really developing love for study. Because whatever you do repeatedly, that creates path in the mind, you start developing. So now no one has to say, he studies. Now in the individual aspect, it finds a wonderful expression. How? Suddenly everyone finds his grades are improving. That's the individual aspect. Grades, I study, I have developed a liking for study, naturally I am having good grades. But it has a cosmic aspect too. In the 12th year, his grades are so good that now his, chances have opened up. Most probably he has an inclination for medical studies. So he will find his grades, everything is allowing him to get admitted in the medical college. Okay. Now the entire medical college is not the result of his action, isn't it? It is a cosmic aspect, the collective aspect. The entire society thought that there should be some medical college where the deserving students should get chance and they can serve the society. So it's a collective aspect. So what has happened? That his sanskara gravitated him there. And when you are gravitated there, another thing happens. We have many sanskaras, many desires we have. But when I am gravitated to a particular circumstances, all the desires which are suitable for that environment, they will manifest. The others will become dormant. They are there. So that's the concept of vasana in Yoga Sutra, that we have so many desires. Of this, those which are suitable for that environment or for that birth, they will manifest, other will remain dormant. So there are many ways we can understand this. So anyone can counter that if all the things in the past there as latent impressions and they are always recurring as that your desire, then most probably as per the theory of evolution, in some past birth I was a grazing animal, most probably. Who knows? And I had a tremendous liking for the grass. Now if the past samskaras are there, which is going to manifest whenever I find favorable circumstances, then in this birth also, seeing the grass, I am supposed to salivate because it is not lost. So that's what Yoga Sutra says, a very wonderful theory. That as per the environment in which you are, all those huge fund of vasanas, only those which are favorable for that, they will manifest, other will become dormant. Like this student, he was interested in all the subjects. Not only that, most probably some co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, maybe in some music, he was learning music or something. Now, we will find the moment he's in the medical college, only the interest in the biological science, that is getting more important, that is manifesting. The others will become for the time being dormant. His interest in the so-called social studies or in the language group, for the time being, as they are not up to this, so they get dormant. It is not visible, it's there. Again in future, when he's an established doctor and has a laser, most probably his love for music may again come back. So this is a wonderful idea in Yoga Sutra, that as per my desire, I am developing samskaras. Of those samskaras, the one which is predominant, that will gravitate me to a situation where I will find that particular vasana has been fulfilled. Others are there, they are dormant. Maybe again in future, of those which may find more importance, they will find expression. So that way, our desires do take us to a situation where we find that they are fulfilled. And that depends on where it will be taking us. That among many desires, the one which is predominant, that will be deciding my course. Now, very interesting. Just for fun, a very elderly Swami, in our Argyo Bhavan, in his old age, hitting, it's actually that hitting is on yeah, are you feeling cold?
Very hot.
Hot. So ওটা off করতে জানেন কেউ? I can also off it. It's just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Now it will get cold in 5 minutes. It's okay. It will be comfortable. So that elderly Swami, he was a retired Swami, and in the old age, he had no work. He had a lot of leisure, and he started just learning something like this harmonium, and the very basic notes he was learning. So every day morning we will hear he is just practicing Saregama. So now we as young brahmacharis will make fun of him. We'll go and say, Swamiji, now in this age you are learning Saregama. When will you learn singing? So he will very calmly, seriously say, in the next birth. So this birth is Saregama next. So the idea is that if you develop a sanskara, you will be born. That you will find there are many child prodigies that that in a family of musician, a musician is born from the very child. Many say that okay, he is in that environment, that's why he has developed. But it's not the fact. Most probably the musician has a lot of students. Apart from his own child or his son or daughter, there are so many students. And he's actually teaching to all of them. But his own son, we find, is learning at a much faster pace than the others. What? Most probably he had the samskara which gravitated him to that type of family where he gets the environment and really start learning very fast because already he has that tendency. So that's the idea of the reincarnation in the Yoga Shastra. Very scientifically it is dealt. Very scientifically. It explains so many things. That why there are of the so many desires, the others are hidden. That also they express. So nicely they are saying. So now with this idea, I will give another very nice story. I joined long back in Lucknow. In Lucknow we have a center, it's a hospital center, and I joined there. And now when I was there, suddenly from Calcutta, one family, they were a devoted family, they came along with their son. And they told this, it's very unfortunate, the son has developed some drug addiction. So now we are thinking somehow that he may recover, he may come back to his normal life. So he was pleading our Swamiji there. Sridharanji was the in charge that time there. So he requested him. So Swamiji, can you keep him in the ashram? Make it sure he doesn't get any scope to go out. There was a boundary wall and the gate, there was a security. So you please inform the security not to allow him to go out. Let him stay. The campus is quite big. Let him stay inside and give him a lot of activities like gardening, some work in the kitchen, some work in the shrine. So throughout the day, he is busy with the activities and he is interacting with you. Maybe he may start changing. He may come out of this addiction. Now for first about 1 month, we found it's okay. He was behaving quite well. Very nice boy. Though he will sometimes say that he is having that withdrawal syndrome, he'll have tremendous headache or something. But otherwise, he was nice.
How old is
a team. He was some crossed his 18, means 19, 20, something like that. So now then, suddenly we found that our things have started missing. We never lock our rooms, because inside the ashram there is no question of locking the rooms. Things have started missing. In those days we used this tape recorder. Suddenly I found it's not there. Someone had lost his radio, some watch. All those things were missing. So we never knew why. So we started locking our rooms, because as the things were missing. And then one day in the morning we found in the shrine the entire offering box. In Lucknow the shrine was very interesting, that in the old shrine, the congregation room where the deity is there, the sanctum sanctorum, that used to be locked. But the congregation room only had blinds. There was no question of lock, and the offering box was there. So anyone can enter and open it if they want. But after all, the security guard is there in the gate. Who will come at night? So we felt it's safe. But that box was removed. It was not, the entire box was removed. So now we went and just admonished the security guard that most probably he was sleeping, because otherwise how can this box be removed? Most Sanghas came, he told, no, I was awake. So again after a few days, the second time the new box was installed, again it was removed. So we were really perplexed, what's happening? Then again another month passed, and then suddenly at night one day the security guard was waking us up. He was having that whistle. He was blowing it very strong, very loudly, and then he was calling all of us. So we woke up, it was about 2:30, we woke up, and then he took us behind the garage. Ashram, there's a garage, there's behind. And he actually, and the boy, he has locked him in a room and took us to the garage. He told, I found the boy here, behind the garage, right? No, he was digging something behind the garage at dead of night. So I was just hiding myself and looking what he's doing, let me find. And when he dug to a certain extent, both the offering boxes were there. This third one he was going to put there, and when he was caught. So we were really surprised. So then we kept him in a room, called his parents so that he may come and take him back. And we started interrogating. That what were you doing? Why you were just taking this pranami box, all these offering boxes? Then what he told was something shocking. He told that the drug peddlers came inside the ashram. In Lucknow, from where the drug peddlers started, they came inside the ashram. They started providing him drugs. First they gave just free of cost, that's as they do. And then they start asking for money. And from where he will get money? So he started stealing all those things. That's what he was doing. So that's one. Then there was one senior Swami. He told, see, this is the idea you will find in the Yoga Sutra. What's your desire? The nature will conspire to make your desires fulfilled. See, this boy was new to this city. His parents brought him to Lucknow. Why? Because in Calcutta he knows from where he will get all the peddlers and all. This is known circle. So this is totally unknown. And that also he was not allowed to interact with anyone outside. He was staying in ashram. Not a single day he went outside. The drug peddlers came inside, provided him drug, and just see, he was, so what you know it for certain, it is a fact that if what you desire, that it has to fulfill. That if you have forcefully renounced but the desire is in your mind, you are going to build a huge palace then, if you have such dream in your mind. So that's the idea in the Yoga Sutra which speaks of. So now we have to take this, that in our life, if we make, as we were saying, that as a habit of facing it instead of forgetting everything and running, which was good for particular situations as a food gatherer. It was okay. When we are attacked by the predator, it's okay. But when in the present change scenario, when forgetting everything and running cannot be the stance which can take in each and every moment of our life, we have to be taking this, facing everything and rising above the situation. So when this has become habitual, know it for certain, the external circumstances is also bound to change. So if we think of success, we get success. If you think of failure, you get failure. Now, many will say, especially in India, and I used to say it to my students, I was in school, so the students used to sometimes say, how? See here, In the 12th year, we all aspire to be either, in India, the parents insist that as if in this world there is no other profession, either doctor or engineer. So you have to become either a doctor or an engineer. And we all aspire, we too aspire. As the father has told, we also aspire. But how many get? So you say that what you aspire, it happens. The thing is, we say I want to be doctor, but someone within me is saying most probably I won't get. And that becomes successful. And that's what happens. If you're fully convinced that I am going to get it, you know you're going to get it. Your aspiration will be such. In business, you will find that someone who starts from zero, has nothing, but has an intense desire to really succeed in some business, he really goes to the top. After going to the top, suddenly you find one day he falls. When he had nothing, the fear of losing was not there. His mind was totally focused. I have to get something. When he was in the top, now I may lose. And he loses. Of course he loses. So what do you think? Know it for certain. The world's plan is such. If you think anything with one full mind, that's why Thakur Guru Maharaj used to say, Mon mukh ek kora. Bhaber ghore churi na hoa. That bhaber ghore churi means I am actually emotionally inclined to something, but as my mother, father told me something, I'm saying something. But something deep within, I know it's something different. The society wants me to be something, I just go on saying something. So that is bhaver ghore churi. So what your bhava, your real feeling is something, but you are saying something. So your mon mukh, your mind and your speech are not conforming. If it is conforming, that's what Sri Ramakrishna is also saying. If mon mukh ek, both are just conforming to each other, your mind and your speech, and that speaks of your intent desire, that's bound to happen. Even a very nice story is there in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, very nice. Sri Ramakrishna had a way of saying this thing in a very simple manner. He said, a small boy developed some incurable disease, and the doctors told the child is going to die. It's a matter of few days. Now the father was really worried. He loved the child. Any father loves the child so much. Now he was praying, oh God, please save my child. And then this man hears a divine voice. What? And sometimes these things appears to be almost impossible. He says, on a particular night, when a particular constellation is on the ascendant, that's called Swati Nakshatra. A Swati is a particular constellation that is on the ascendant, that is on the sky. You can see it, and that's the time it has to rain. When the Swati constellation is on the ascendant, it has to rain that time, and then that rainwater, when it is raining, that's the time where that rainwater has to be diluted by the fang of the poison of a cobra. And then you make your child drink it, he will be cured. So now we will say it's impossible. How can it be? Now this man that's what the parable is. Swamiji says he was intently praying. Now when he saw that the Swati constellation is on the ascendant, he started praying. Oh, please give rain. Oh God, please give rain. And it too started raining. And then this man was very joyous. Oh, it has started raining. Now how the other things can happen? He was still intently praying. He was praying, and then suddenly he saw a cobra is coming. And then he saw at a distance there was the skull of a dead person. There's just the skull was there. It was inverted, and the rainwater was just filling into it. And the snake was proceeding towards it, and this man never saw. Actually, a frog was coming from the other side. And the frog, when it came near the skull, now the snake just tried to bite it, and the frog jumped. So the snake missed. So the venom fell inside the water of that skull. Now he took that water which was full of skull to the child, and he was cured. So this is a story which may find what does it make any sense? The sense actually, if you say that how is all these impossible things can happen, and we just simply discard it, that's not the idea. The idea is if you are intently desiring something, the entire nature will conspire to make your desire successful. So that's the thing which we have to understand, that in life, if you are always keeping a positive visualization, that is going to change your future scenario. That's one thing. And another thing, that if somehow I get an environment which I don't deserve, it may happen accidentally. That even in India we find that in the medical, some have really where they deserve, they got, some somehow have got through it. And now in India, the maximum suicide rate is among the medical students. Because after getting admitted, they find that they cannot pass. It's too much for them. And now, if they cannot get the certificate, their certificate, they have just 12, they're not even a graduate. So they develop a sense of total, that's hopelessness. What will I do with my life? So a maximum suicide rate has to be in the medical student. So what happened that you have got into a situation where which you have actually not deserved, which you don't deserve, and you have somehow got. Then you will be thrown out from that. So that's why even if your thoughts doesn't say, what happens if I am constantly not trying to develop the soft skills by facing everything and rising out of the situation? In future, what will happen? My hard skills, my certificate, that will enable me to get a job. In India, it's a very common thing I was just going to say. You get a job, but in a short time, even here you will find, some persons say, I have my degree, qualification, everything, but somehow I cannot stay in a job, I am fired. Again and again, again and again. So in India, there's a very interesting thing, that you will be hired for your hard skills, but will be fired for your lack of soft skills. So when you join, your certificates say that you have these degrees and all, then they find that you are always tensed. Some work is given to you, you just think all the negativities first. You never take a positive step to really do that. And that has made you quarrelsome, because if you are not going to do something, you have to have so many compromises. With those compromises, you are constantly interacting with others. So you become a bundle of negativities. And somehow I'm not aware of that. That, as we were saying, that we are always aware of the strong connection of the chain, not the weak connection. We take our personality in such a way. So here also the same thing happens. I'm not aware. It is happening, but I don't know why it is happening. Again and again it's happening. So what happens that I find I actually have not developed the soft skills. So though I go to that situation, I again find myself being thrown away from that. So that's why developing this soft skill is something very important. In the Harvard University, that some research goes that we spend our resource, time, resource, everything to acquire the hard skill. But in real life, for our progress, only 20% accounts for your hard skill, 80% accounts for our soft skills. That's the thing which we never give importance to. That hard skills, only 20% accounts in future. That we may really get something, but I cannot continue there if I have not developed the soft skills, for which there is no education. How to develop the soft skills. So that is something which is very important. So now, to develop soft skills, there are so many things that you will find that nowadays there is so many other research. This all has to speak with our mind, our inclinations. That it is, we all find that that we have so many sensate attachments, and which needs immediate gratification. So, and sometimes we find that though I find these are the distractions, I cannot somehow bring me back from that. So in the modern psychology, they say a very interesting thing, that it's not our IQ, but it's our capacity to delay our gratification, which speaks of real, success in life. That experiment which you have, many have nowadays started coming to our center by saying that I have heard the lectures of Sarvapriyananda in YouTube. So many of you might have heard this in his lectures. He quotes, even when he came here in 2013, we had some celebration of Swami Vivekananda's birth centenary celebration. In various universities, we had some seminars. 2013. In 13, I was here, so I came in 13, and that's the year they came here. So in 2013, the centenary was in 12, but they came in 13. And so, yeah, so we had all the seminars in the month of 13. Even here also he came in the La Trobe University. He delivered some talk. And La Trobe in Monash. So there in one of the universities, he was actually relating this story. The story that you all have heard most probably. The story of this marshmallow experiment. That it was an experiment with the children. It was the psychologists who were meeting the children individually, and they've tried to become friendly with them. So suddenly, if you give them something they won't have, unless you become a bit friendly. So first they will become friendly with them, and then suddenly they will offer a marshmallow. They will bring out a small disposable plate. On that they will keep a marshmallow. And now where these experiments are happening, there is all surveillance camera, just to see the reaction. What happens now? They give this a marshmallow and the child is about to take because they like it very much. And now the psychologist says, wait, I am going out. I will come back within 5 or 10 minutes. I'll come back. If you still sit here with the marshmallow, you are not taking the marshmallow, I will give you the second marshmallow. Would you like to have the second one? Yeah, of course. Now it was very interesting. They found in 80% of the cases, the children somehow they knew that they are going to get the second marshmallow, but they couldn't resist. They ate. And there was all the reactions. They were showing the reactions. The one girl, to distract herself, was pulling her ponytail, so that pain may forget her but she couldn't resist at last. She took. So all sorts of things they were doing, so it was very funny. And however, the experiment doesn't end here. The experiment goes still further. They keep track of all the children on whom this experiment was done. And then they find in the later years, it's not the children with high IQ. It's only those few children who somehow had the capacity to delay their gratification. They really could wait for the second marshmallow. They were waiting there. It is they who were doing much better in life. Whether it's in their academics or in their profession, they were doing much better. This experiment. So the reason is very simple. Why? It's not your intelligence. It's actually your capacity to delay the gratification that speaks of your success in life. The simple reason is because the one who can delay the gratification, they are actually not short-sighted, not myopic. So the others are all short-sighted. They are just going for the immediate short-term gains. They never look at the long-term gains waiting for them. So they are myopic. So if I can become something that I can just overcome my short-sightedness and just see what's waiting for me, I can overcome this. As very nice that we say in a very nice way that renunciation is not a negative term. It's actually a positive term. What? That I am renouncing something to get something better, isn't it? So that's why when a person went to a monk and tell, oh, you are great. Well, why? You have renounced. And this monk told, I haven't renounced. It is you who have renounced. Well, how come? Well, see, I have renounced something trivial for something which is the real treasure. And you have renounced the treasure for something very trivial. So whose renunciation is bigger? So that we are all actually, that in that sense, we are all the real renunciates. We have renounced something which is waiting for us, but treasure for something trivial. So we are the real renunciates. So that's the idea. You have to delay. Now again the question comes, but how to develop that? We do succumb to it. Is there a way out? So now again the next thing is, let us try to understand the nature of happiness. That any sensate happiness, that even the marshmallow, the moment I was desiring for it, I was craving for it, but how long does that happiness remain? The moment I take, it's gone. Maybe I may have a urge for the second serving, I take second time. Still some urge is there for the third time. A satiation comes, can I continue with it? No, it's over. From the morning, the mother was cooking the food, the child finished in half an hour, it's over. How much time it takes? Just sit, it's everything over. And then what to do with the time? And again, you will be in your old self. So this sensate pleasures has a limitation. You cannot continue with it. But there's another type of pleasure that's spoken of in the flow psychology. That's what they say, that you try to develop some skill based on some challenge. The moment your skills meet the challenge, you enter into a state of flow. And then the pleasure which comes out of it is something almost unending. It goes on. It doesn't have that limitation that it has just satiation, it's over. Just take a musician. When he's learning, it's really a struggle. He's not enjoying it. He's really struggling. His challenge is much greater than his skills. But through practice, a time comes, his skills meets the challenge. Now what happens? He develops a tremendous focus. When he's playing, how that flow comes? His entire mind is in that. What distracts us? Either the external world or my bodily feelings. That if I am engaged in something, suddenly I feel hungry. I have to discontinue it, isn't it? So what happens that when I am in a flow, the thing which happens is I'm in tremendous focus. The tremendous focus is there. What's the focus? That when I'm doing it, other things starts falling off. Just like yesterday night when this final match was there, when all who were watching, if someone calls you that time, most probably you may not hear. You may not hear. Why? The sound is entering through your ears. Because you can keep that, see there is a hook there. You keep the door open, then there will be ventilation. I think you all will feel better. Yeah. So when your focus, the sound is entering your ear, it is entering your ear, but it is somehow not getting registered in your mind. Why? The more the mind is focused in one thing, the other thing starts falling off naturally because it cannot process those information. It has to fall off. So first, these external distractions falls off. If you are still more focused, then the bodily feelings, all the bodily feelings are actually biological alarm, like hunger. It's time to take food. The pangs of hunger is the biological alarm which is saying take food. But if my mind is not registering it, then you can easily simply overcome it. Tiredness, everything. So you can simply overcome them because your mind is not registering them. Your biological alarm system also falls off. That the surgeon, when he is operating on a patient, that for 8 hours most probably he is standing and he is operating. The moment the operation is over, he is extremely tired. But for that 8 hours, he never felt any exhaustion, any tiredness, hunger, thirst, nothing. Why? The mind was extremely focused on what he was doing. He knew a little carelessness will be at the cost of the life of the patient, isn't it? So his entire focus was there, which made him forget everything else. So the flow speaks of that. When all the bodily feelings falls off, you enter into that state of flow. In Yoga Shastra, this state of flow is being termed as Videha. Videha. The Deha means body. Videha means without body. Actually, you are in body. But as you are so focused in something, you are feeling that the body has fallen off. That's why King Janaka was called Videha. That he is a being. But why is Videha? Because he is so much focused in the sublime spiritual things, the other things doesn't register his mind. So though he is in the body, actually he is not in the body. So that's the state in which you enter. So know it for certain, I cannot delay my gratification by force. I have to develop skills in something by which I enter into a state of flow. Then the other things starts falling off naturally. In the words of Sri Ramakrishna, if you have to go away from the West, you cannot push the West. You simply have to go to the East. The West automatically falls behind. The more you enter into a state of flow, by culturing something, by Sanskriti, the other thing starts falling off naturally. So that's the thing which we have to understand, that to overcome this impulsive gratification, develop focus. So the second session we won't take much because too many informations at last becomes hodgepodge. And you find it starts creating confusion. So last thing, that this focus after all, we all do understand, especially from the Asian background. You will find the mothers are all tiger mothers, this constantly, and the children also develop that focus. And here also in the school, you will find it is all the Asian students who are really performing well. But what happened in the university? There suddenly you find in the research and other thing, it's the Aussies or the so-called the white population, they really excel. How many scientists do you find there from Asian? They may be the CEOs of some, but after all, the research and everything, who are doing? Why it happens? With so much focus, you go to certain extent, but not beyond that. Because the focus has to be, what you say, that's complemented with relaxation. So when you are not forced for study, the one who has an inclination for study, what happens, he knows how to balance this two. What happens, is a very interesting thing. That when my mind is focusing, it gathers information. But when it is relaxing, then all the information which you have gathered, they start mixing up with each other. They start processing. And most of this processing will be all irrelevant things. But one idea somehow gets fixed with some idea to create a wonderful invention. So unless you are relaxing, that never happens. So you will find it. In dreams it happens. We say we dream all incoherent things. Why? When I'm awake, I know what gold is. Someone show me gold ornaments. Yeah, this is gold. And then here is the Dandenong mountains. So this is two different ideas. And with my focused mind, I know this is gold, that is mountain. When I am sleeping, relaxing, when I'm dreaming, now the mind, what it is doing, is just like a classroom in where when you are awake, it is a classroom where the teacher is there, the children are sitting. They are all disciplined. They are all in their position. Now the class is over, the teacher goes out, the next teacher is to come, and you find all started jumping. No one is in their position. That's the dream state. The focus, the forebrain, which is the monitor, is no more there. It is sleeping. But the hindbrain, the subconscious mind, is now like that chaotic children. They're all jumping. So suddenly in dream you see a golden mountain. What has happened? The idea of gold has mixed with the idea of this ornament. Yeah. And we see in the dream golden mountain, you can see. Of course, it's not a fact. So what has happened? All this. But in this, most of this mixing up is fantasy. It creates fantasy. But suddenly some mixing up can be wonderful. It creates invention. You know how the DNA structure, if you go to the internet and search, this the dream of this Watson, that is James Watson Crick. This one is Watson, other is a Crick. So James Watson actually, he had this idea of this double helix structure. From where? From dream. One day in the research, not only one, there are many. I'm just giving this one example. In the laboratory for days together, months together, they were trying their best to find out that the structure of DNA, they could get no clue. And one day, this James Watson was tired. And in the lab itself, there was a couch and he was relaxing. And suddenly he had a dream of a spiral staircase. And when he came out of the dream, he thought it must be have to do something with the DNA structure. And that's how the double helix structure of DNA. You go to the internet and search. There are many such. I'm just giving this one example. So what happens, unless you allow your mind, that sometimes the tiger Asian mother will find that when the child is doing some mathematics with some soft music playing, she will come and close the soft music. Yeah? But it helps.
It helps. Yes.
Because when you are doing the maths, which step has to be with other step, so you need some relaxation for that processing to happen. And that music do help. If it is not a jargon music, of course, the rap songs won't help. It has to be some soothing music. So some soothing music that relaxes the mind, that is going to help in processing. So this is the thing, focus with relaxation. It has all to do with the mind. How you tame your mind. So you have to focus. That focus comes from developing some, the skills with which you go to the flow. But that's not always that you have to be in that state. Come back from it. Relax and allow the mind, among all the fantasies, to really create something wonderful for which the entire humanity will be benefited. And that is Atmana Mokshartham Jagatitaya Cha. So with this we can just end our discussion today. So there can be so many other things, but yeah, let us conclude because the time is also passing. Okay. So now just we can give some short time for some question answer if you have some questions. Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned about